Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We will continue with the internal features of the hypothalamus. Now, the topic of today's lecture is connections of the hypothalamus with the pituitary gland, etc. Which is the topic of today's lecture. Now, connections of hypothalamus with hypophyses or pituitary gland. Now, neural link. It is by Hypothalamo-hypophyseal nerve tract. It is a connection between hypothalamus and neurohypophyses. Or posterior pituitary gland. Then number 2 is the vascular link. Between hypothalamus and pituitary. It is by hypothalamo hypophyseal portal system. It is between hypothalamus and adenohypophyses. Between hypothalamus and adenohypophyses or anterior pituitary. It is in the form of both positive and negative feedback system. Depending upon the blood concentration of different hormones. Then number 3, neurovascular link. It is by hypothalamo is by tubero. Hypophyseal nerve tract, also known as tuberoinfundibular tract. Also known as arcuate. Portal nerve tract. It is between arcuate nuclei, neurons of the arcuate nucleus of hypothalamus with the primary plexus, primary capillary plexus. And number 4 is the connection of hypothalamus with the autonomic nervous system. This is the summary of the connections of the hypothalamus with hypophyses. Now we will discuss these one by one, starting with hypothalamo-hypophyseal nerve tract. Hypothalamo-hypophyseal nerve tract. Oh, this is the anterior commissure. Lamina terminalis. Optic chiasma. Tuber sinanium. Median eminence. Infundibulum. And pars nervosa. Then different parts of the adenohypophysis. mammillary body, fornix, posterior wall of the third ventricle, pineal body, pineal stalk, posterior commissure, midbrain, here is hypothalamic sulcus, and this is thalamus, and here is hypothalamus, even many hypothalamic nuclei. Now here, as far as the connection of the hypothalamus with pars nervosa is concerned, there are two nuclei. For example, this is suprachiasmatic and paraventricular nucleus. This is paraventricular nucleus. This is supraoptic nucleus, comprising of neurons. So I will draw only two neurons of these two nuclei, supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei. Now this is dorsal body. Dendrites, and this is axon. And neuron of the paraventricular nucleus. nerve cell body from which dendrites arise, and an axon. So there are several such neurons. We have drawn only one neuron in each nucleus. Now the axons of these neurons, they traverses through the infundibulum to reach the pars nervosa. Axons of the neurons of supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus, they traverses through the infundibulum and enter the pars nervosa. In the pars nervosa, there are axon terminals in the form of rounded ball-like structures known as the herring bodies. There are several such axon terminals in the neurohypophyseal known as the herring bodies, and close to it lie the capillaries, blood capillaries. And in the pars nervosa also there are cells with cytoplasmic processes known as pituicytes. Pituicytes, these are glial cells and provide physical and nutritional support to the terminal parts of the nerve fibers or axons. This is infundibulum. Thus, a nerve tract passes through the infundibulum to enter the pars nervosa of the pituitary, where they end in expanded structures known as the herring bodies. This is known as the hypothalamo-hypophyseal. Nerve tract. Hypothalamo-hypophyseal nerve tract. And this tract comprises of axons of the neurons of supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus. These two nuclei, they produce hormones. That is antidiuretic hormone, also known as vasopressin, and oxytocin. These hormones are produced by the neurons of the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei. These hormones are then released and they reach the pars nervosa via axons of the infundibulum. So these axons do not innervate the pars nervosa. They act like a duct through which these hormones reaches the pars nervosa. So the hypothalamo-hypophyseal nerve tract act like a duct through which the oxytocin and ADH flows downwards from supraoptic paraventricular nuclei to the pars nervosa of the pituitary gland. Here in the hearing bodies, these hormones are stored. So the hearing bodies act like storage, store ADH and oxytocin. And when the need arises, these hormones are released into the nearby blood capillaries and pass into the blood circulation to the target glands and target tissues. So this is one connection between hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, that is pars nervosa or posterior pituitary. This is known as the hypothalamo-hypophyseal nerve tract. And this tract acts like a duct and do not innervate the pars nervosa. Then between the hypothalamus and the neurohypophyseal, there is a vascular link also. Blood vessels. So the blood vessels link the hypothalamus with the anterior pituitary, that is adenohypophysis. And this vascular connection is known as the hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. Hypothalamo-hypophyseal system. Tubersinarium, median eminence, infundibulum, pars nervosa. Optic chiasma, lamina terminalis, mammillary body, then anterior pituitary. Adeno-hypophyseal, various parts of the adeno-hypophyseal. Now vascular link. The superior hypophyseal arteries, enter the tuberoinfundibular, where it break up into capillaries. Into a capillary plexus. In the tuberoinfundibular and the median eminence and upper part of the infundibulum. This is known as primary capillary plexus. Now from this primary capillary plexus, veins arise which descend through hypothalamus and enter the adeno-hypophyseal. These are known as portal veins. And these portal veins enter the adeno-hypophyseal. Here they again break into a set of blood capillaries. This capillary plexus in the adeno-hypophyseal is known as secondary capillary plexus. Among the cells of adeno-hypophyseal. And this plexus is then drained by anterior hypophyseal veins. from primary capillary plexus via portal veins in the infundibulum, drain into the secondary capillary plexus, which is in the adenohypophysis, and from it the blood is drained out through anterior hypophyseal veins. This is hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. This is vascular link in the form of hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. This is vascular link, and the nervous link is hypothalamo-hypophyseal nerve tract, and this is hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. Now, before proceeding, I will explain the arteriovenous anastomosis in the body. Number one is the general capillary bed. That is the arterial system, anastomosed with the venous system via a set of blood capillaries. And this capillary network drain into venous system. Now this is general capillary bed. On one side is the arterial, which is the smallest artery. And on the other end is the venule, which is the smallest vein. In this way, the blood flows into the capillary bed via arterial system. Then in the tissues, exchange of gases and nutrients and waste takes place between tissue and blood capillaries. And then the venous blood is drained out via venous system, venules, small veins, medium-sized veins, large veins, etc. This is general capillary bed. Then there is another system also known as the portal system. Now there are two types of portal system. Arterial type of portal system, and number 2, venous type of portal system. Arteriovenous anastomosis. Now, in arterial type, this is arteriole. Then there is capillary bed. And this capillary bed, instead of draining into the venous system, it again drains into the arterial system. So this is arteriole, this is also arteriole, and this is the capillary bed, capillary plexus, and this is the direction of blood flow. So at either end of the capillary plexus there is arterial system. You can see it is deviation from general capillary bed, which is most common in the body. The capillary bed anastomoses arterial system with the venous system. But deviation from this system is known as portal system, and it is divided into arterial type of portal system and venous type. In arterial type, on each side of the capillary is the arterial system. Blood enter the capillary bed via arteriole and drain out through arteriole. And the second type is venous type of portal system. That is venule. Venous system on either side of the capillary bed. This is venule, and this is also venule, and this is capillary plexus. So in the arterial type of portal system, on each side of the blood capillaries is the arteries, arteriole, and here again blood is drained out through arteriole. And in venous type, the capillary bed anastomoses between veins, venule on one side and venule on the other side. So this is also deviation from this general capillary bed. This system is called portal system. Now here in the pituitary also there is portal system, hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. Now you can see the portal veins. Here is artery which drain into the capillaries, capillary into veins. This is general type of capillary bed. Arterial system, capillaries, venous system. Arteries, capillaries, veins. Now look here, the portal veins open into the capillary plexus inside the anterior pituitary, which is known as the secondary capillary plexus, and it is drained out again by veins. So on each side of this capillary plexus is vein, portal vein, proximally and distally the again anterior hypophyseal vein. So in the pituitary gland this is portal system, because on each side of the capillary plexus are veins. So this is venous type. So the venous type of portal system example is pituitary. This is general capillary bed, that is arterial system, blood capillary drain into the veins. general type. But here it is deviated and becomes portal system. This is a capillary bed. On one end is the portal vein, on the other end is the again vein, hypophyseal vein. This is portal venous type of portal system in the pituitary gland. Now here is the arterial type. On each side of the capillary arterial system. This is arterial type of portal system. It exists in the example is the kidney nephron. You know nephron, it comprises of the Bowman's capsule, then proximal convoluted tubule, straight segment of proximal convoluted tubule, then Henle's loop, U-shaped, hairpin shape, then thick and thin segment of Henle's loop, and then distal convoluted tubules, etc. This is nephron. So the Bowman's capsule is a cup-shaped structure, double membrane. Now here there is a plexus known as the glomerulus. So the afferent arteriole afferent arteriole. This is afferent, incoming. Arteriole, and this arteriole enter the Bowman's capsule and divide into a set of capillaries and is drained out via efferent arteriole. The incoming afferent arteriole break up into capillaries in the Bowman's capsule, and then this capillary plexus is drained out by efferent arteriole, outgoing. So here you can see in the kidney nephron, you can see again another portal system, that is capillary plexus, which is known as the glomerulus or glomerular capillaries. And on one side of the glomerular capillaries is the arteriole, and the other side again arteriole. So between arterial system there is a capillary network. So it is arterial type of venous system. So its example is glomerulus. Glomerulus capillaries of the kidney. So this was just to describe the general capillary bed and its deviation in the form of portal system, venous and arterial. So in case of pituitary gland, the venous type of portal system exists. The hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system is venous type. So these blood vessels link the hypothalamus with the adenohypophysis, anterior pituitary. Now, from the arcuate nuclei, various releasing factors this is arcuate nucleus of hypothalamus, and from which the axons arise, and these axons then make contact with the primary capillary plexus. These arcuate nuclei of the hypothalamus, they produce releasing hormones or the release inhibitory hormones synthesized by neurons of this arcuate nucleus, and these releasing factors and non-releasing factors enter the blood circulation of the primary capillary plexus. It is drained via portal vein into secondary capillary plexus and causes the release of various hormones of the cells of the adenohypophysis. And these hormones then enter the secondary capillary plexus and is drained out via the anterior hypophyseal vein and general circulation. And then it acts on the target organs or target endocrine glands. This is suppose arcuate nucleus. Now this hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system, it also acts as feedback systems responsible for feedback mechanism. So one is a positive feedback mechanism. And the other one is negative feedback mechanism. That is, from the arcuate nuclei releasing factors, they enter the primary capillary plexus, from it via portal veins passing through infundibulum, reaches the endohypophysis and causes the different hormones to release. So when there is when the hormones are required and there is less concentration of hormones in the circulation, so releasing factors from the arcuate nuclei, which are produced in the arcuate nuclei, are released into the primary capillary plexus, which reach the secondary capillary plexus in the adenohypophysis and causes the release of different hormones in blood circulation. For example, the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, LH, luteinizing hormone, ACTH, adenocorticotropic hormones, growth hormone, prolactin, etc. So these hormones are released into the blood circulation, which then act on various endocrine glands, like thyroid stimulating hormones act on the thyroid gland to release T3 and T4 hormones, follicle stimulating hormone from follicles of the ovary release estrogen, progesterone, etc. This is positive feedback mechanism, and this takes place through the hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. Now, when the concentration of these hormones is more in the blood circulation, then negative feedback mechanism work. Now these primary, secondary capillary plexuses, portal veins, etc., This hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system is such that the blood flow is reversed. When the concentration of these hormones is more in the blood, the negative feedback mechanism is stimulated. So the blood flow through the hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system is reversed. That is, instead of from primary capillary plexus to the secondary capillary plexus and to the blood circulation, which then act on target tissues. When the concentration of these hormones is more in the blood, the negative feedback mechanism occur. The blood flow, instead of flowing from primary to secondary plexus and then to the blood circulation, is reversed from secondary capillary plexus to the primary capillary plexus, and thus the required amount of hormones in the blood circulation is maintained. So the hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract both act as positive feedback mechanism and negative feedback mechanism. So this was about the hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. The vascular link. Now the neurovascular link. That is via hypothalamo-hypophyseal nerve tract. Tuberoinfundibular nerve tract. Tuberoinfundibular nerve tract or tuberoinfundibular nerve tract. Arterial portal nerve tract. The neurovascular connection. First we talk about the neural link only, hypothalamo-hypophyseal nerve tract. Then we discuss only the vascular link, that is hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. Now there is a combination of these two, vascular and nerve tract, neurovascular link. And this link is known as tuberohypophyseal nerve tract or tuberoinfundibular nerve tract or arcuate nerve tract. the optic chiasma, lamina terminalis, the tuber cinereum, median eminence, infundibulum, and neurohypophyseal. Adenohypophyseal. Mammillary body. Now here is arcuate or infundibular nucleus. Arcuate nucleus or infundibular nucleus of hypothalamus. Now I will draw one neuron in this. This is the cell body of the neuron of arcuate nucleus, dendrites, then axon. In the tuber cinereum, I told you there is primary capillary plexus. In the tuber cinereum, this is superior hypophyseal of hypophyseal artery, and this is primary capillary plexus. And from this capillary plexus, portal veins arise, which run through the infundibulum and enter the anterior pituitary. Hypophyseal. And this the portal vein traversing through infundibulum. The portal vein enter the adenohypophyseal and break up into another set of blood capillaries. In the anterior pituitary gland. This is secondary capillary plexus. And the secondary capillary plexus is drained out by anterior hypophyseal veins. Now this is a link between arcuate nuclei of the hypothalamus with the primary capillary plexus, and it is then continued as hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system, which in the anterior pituitary break up into secondary capillary plexus and is drained out via hypophyseal vein. Now these arcuate nuclei are infundibular nuclei. They produce also known as the infundibular nuclei or arcuate nuclei. These produce releasing factors or hormones and also produce release inhibitory hormones. Release inhibitory hormones. So the neurons are the arcuate nuclei of the hypothalamus. Their axons leave the neurons of arcuate nuclei in the tuber cinereum and the median eminence and proximal part of the infundibulum and make contact with the primary capillary plexus. These neurons of the arcuate nuclei are infundibular nuclei. They produce releasing factors or releasing hormones and release inhibitory hormones or factors. These releasing or inhibitory factors, they are released into the primary capillary plexus and via portal vein into the secondary plexus and then into the blood circulation through anterior hypophyseal veins and reach the target organs to inhibit them or to stimulate them. So this is a neurovascular link. In the beginning is the nerve tract, that is called the tuberohypophyseal nerve tract, also known as the tuberoinfundibular nerve tract. Arcuate nuclei, also known as the infundibular nuclei. And the third name is the arcuatoportal nerve tract. From arcuate nuclei, axons pass to the portal system, that is primary capillary plexus. So this is another link between the arcuate nuclei of the hypothalamus with the hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system, vascular system. So this was about neurovascular ring. And fourth one is the connection between hypothalamus and autonomic nervous system. autonomic link. Hypothalamus is the higher center of our autonomic nervous system. You know, the autonomic nervous system consists of sympathetic and parasympathetic. Parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system. Now, parasympathetic nervous system is craniosacral in origin. While sympathetic nervous system is thoracolumbar in origin. Craniosacral in origin, that some of the cranial nerves are parasympathetic. For example, the oculomotor nerve, third cranial nerve, seventh facial, ninth glossopharyngeal, or 10th cranial nerves, plus sacral segment of the spinal cord, sacral 2, 3, and 4 of spinal cord. While sympathetic nervous system is thoracolumbar in origin, that is originate from T1 to lumbar 2, L2, R3, sometimes 4. Only takes origin from the all thoracic spinal segment and lumbar 2R3, upper lumbar 2R3 spinal segments. So, the hypothalamus is connected to the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system by reticular formation. So some of the hypothalamic nuclei, they are connected with the autonomic nervous system via reticular formation of brainstem. Now the hypothalamus is connected to the number one as parasympathetic nervous system is concerned. Hypothalamus is connected to parasympathetic nerves in brainstem to parasympathetic cranial nerve nuclei located in the brainstem. And I explained that is third or oculomotor nerve nucleus, then seventh or facial nerve nucleus. 9th, glossopharyngeal nerve nucleus. And 10th is vagus nerve nucleus. So hypothalamus, as far as the parasympathetic nervous system concerned, hypothalamus is connected via reticular formation to 4 parasympathetic cranial nuclei in the brainstem and sacral spinal segment and sacral 2, 3, 4 spinal segments of spinal cord. Next, as far as the sympathetic nervous system is concerned, the hypothalamus is connected to the all thoracic spinal segments and first 2 or 3 lumbar spinal segments. Why? Because sympathetic nervous system is thoracolumbar in origin. As I explained earlier, sympathetic nervous system is thoracolumbar in origin. So all thoracic spinal segment and first 2 or 3 lumbar spinal segment give origin to the sympathetic nervous system. While the parasympathetic nervous system, because it is craniosacral in origin, therefore 4 parasympathetic cranial nerve nuclei present in the brainstem, that is oculomotor, facial, glossopharyngeal, 10 cranial nerves plus sacral segment. Which sacral segment? Second, third, fourth sacral spinal segments. So this was the connection between hypothalamus and autonomic nervous system through a reticular formation of the brainstem. So thank you very much.